Hi guys, my name is Chloe, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be doing my May wrap-up. So May for me was quite a slow reading month. I once again have been very busy, so I didn't get as much reading done as I would have liked. So this was in fact my weakest reading month of the year so far. And unfortunately it's my first month without a 5-star read. Which I was more disappointed about. I like reading books that I really like. That's more important to me than how many books I read still, so I was more disappointed about the lack of 5 stars this month. But yeah, this month I read 5 books, which was a total of 1,924 pages, and I'm going to talk through those 5 with you today. So the first book I finished in May was Vengeful, and this is the sequel to Vicious by Schwab. I really liked this one. I don't think I enjoyed it quite as much as book 1, but I still gave it 4.5 stars, so very close to a 5. I think I gave the other one the same rating as well, but I enjoyed it slightly less. This is a sequel, so I can't tell you too much about the plot. But in the first book we follow Victor and Eli whilst they're at university, and they become obsessed with the idea of becoming extraordinaries, and these are people with different powers, almost kind of like superheroes, but they call it extraordinaries. And they discover that in order to get these powers you need to have died and been not died, but you need to have died and be close to completely dying and then come back to life, and then you have a chance of gaining these powers, and that's how extraordinaries exist. So yeah, this follows on from the events in book 1, so I can't say too much more about it, but we did get to hear more about character backstories in this one, particularly Eli, and that is something that I wanted more from book 1, like more of the characters, because it was quite fast-paced book 1 and we didn't get to know them too well. So it was nice seeing our characters here a bit more, seeing them develop and move on, and bits like that. But it was also nice to see some new characters. Marcella in this, the new character, she opens the book with her opening paragraph on how she becomes an extraordinary, and it was really good and really gripping. It describes just how her husband kills her and leaves her in this burning apartment, which she somehow survives, and then she comes on to get these extraordinary powers, which I won't mention because they're really cool, and you know, it's more cool if you can find it out on your own, sort of thing. So yeah, she's really good. Well, not really good, she's actually really bad, but I really enjoyed her character in this. It was really interesting in seeing her, how different again she was from Eli and Victor in book 1, so that was really good. But yeah, thoroughly enjoyed it, and I know she's working on the 3rd book, so I'm hoping it comes out soon so I can carry on with the series. The next book I finished in May was an ebook, and this was a graphic novel called The Sad Ghost Club by Lize Meddings. I gave this one 3 stars. I don't read too many graphic novels, and I got through this one very quickly. Even though it's called The Sad Ghost Club, it's definitely more of a contemporary, not a fantasy in any way. So in this book we follow the ghost. I don't actually remember their name, I don't even know if we find out. We probably do, I've just forgotten. But we follow him or them as they're going about their life. You know, they're having a bad day, a really bad day, don't even want to get out of bed and do things. And that's one thing that I did like about this graphic novel, was the exploration of mental health and anxiety and not wanting to socialise with other people. Things I have gone through in the past before, so it was really nice to see that. Actually a little too real, because I was not doing too well when I read it, and I was like, oh, this is kind of making me worse, but I'm glad to see that representation there. Yeah, not too much happened in the story. The ghost's mum, I think it is, persuades them to go out to this party with other people, and whilst they're there they meet someone who also is like them, quite shy, and you know, they're not willing to go out there and introduce themselves to other people and stuff, and they start a friendship, which is really nice. Yeah, so it was really cute. I loved the mental health rep. But for me, contemporaries bore me a bit more than everything else, unless it's a romance or has some sort of fantasy element. So unfortunately for me, that let me down. It was also very, very quick, so not much happened. So yeah, I just gave it 3 stars. It was good and I definitely recommend it. Really, really cute. I don't know if I will continue with the series. I know there's at least a second one out there. I don't think I enjoyed it that much, but book 1, especially if you see it floating around on a Kindle deal for 99p, as I get quite a few of my books that I've read recently, I'd say it's definitely worth it. The next book I finished in May is Only a Monster by Vanessa. This one is an urban fantasy and we follow Joan, who is working in this museum over the summer alongside Nick, and she has a massive crush on Nick and they just spend their summer looking over these artefacts in the museum and stuff and having a lovely time until it all goes wrong. And she finds out that her family are actually monsters and Nick is a monster hunter, and everything goes awfully from there. I can't say what happens, but something awful happens, and then she has to team up with Aaron, who is actually an heir to another monster family, just to solve the mystery. I can't say much more than that and what's going on. And yeah, it's basically us following Joan as she learns about this monster world, because her family never told her that she was a monster. So yeah, we follow her as she explores that, whilst there are some awful things going on. But yeah, my favourite bit about this book is there are, the monsters have time travelling powers, so they can actually steal human time from humans, so they will die, I don't know, an hour or so earlier. So these monsters can go back in time and travel to different areas, which was really, really interesting. As someone who has enjoyed history in the past, it was really, really nice to see a lot of different locations, and because she works in a museum, her commenting on statues and artifacts and stuff, that was really interesting. That was probably the best bit of the book. I would have liked more explanation for the magic system and definitely more world building. I think that's definitely needed. And more character development as well. Well, this one was just over like 300 pages or so, I think, so it was quite short. So I definitely think this one would have benefited from a longer book, for added world building and stuff like that. And yeah, I'm probably going to continue with the series, because I'm hoping we will get more explanations and that the characters will be better in that as well. I did give this one 3.5 stars, but I am going to try the next one, and if my rating goes up then I will definitely keep reading the series. The next book I finished in May was The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. This is a contemporary romance. It's an enemies to lovers book and I really, really enjoyed this one. I had so much fun with it. So in this one we follow Lucy and Joshua, and they are assistants to the co-CEOs of a joint publishing company. So they basically work in this office. There's some, it's enemies to lovers, so they are rivals in the office, but it doesn't take long for Lucy to realise that maybe she doesn't hate Josh, maybe she actually loves him, and the story goes from there. This one was really, really good. I read this one quite quickly. It's very fast paced. I loved the tension and the rivalry in the beginning and how this progresses into their relationship. I would have liked this to have been a bit slower just because I am a big fan of books that use slow burn romance. So I would have liked to have been not so quickly, but it's not as bad as other books for sure. But yeah, it's light-hearted, it's an easy read, it made me laugh in some places, and it's just really wholesome. If you're looking for a summer romance, even though it looks like it's set in the office, I would definitely recommend this one. To be fair, I don't read too many contemporary romances, and yeah, this one was really, really good. I gave it 4 stars, and I will definitely look out for more books by Sally Thorne in the future. So the last book I read in May was Good Omens by Terry Pratchett and Neil Gaiman. Now this one I was very, very disappointed by this one. I had quite high hopes for this one because I know this one is a favourite of many, many people. It's almost like a classic. But I just didn't enjoy this one and I ended up giving it 2.5 stars. Now in this one, like, I don't remember too much of this one, by the way, so this synopsis isn't going to be the best, but in this one we follow Azrael and Crowley. Azrael is an angel and Crowley is a demon, and they are tasked to look over the Antichrist who is on Earth. But it isn't until this kid comes of age that they realise they've got the wrong kid and they need the Antichrist to stop the apocalypse, which suddenly became a thing. And this apocalypse was predicted by a witch 200 years ago, and now they have to prevent the apocalypse, which they found out about through that witch's book. That's all I remember from it. To be honest, there are so many POVs in this that I just found, like, POVs that I found boring, that I found it really, really hard to follow the actual plot of what was going on. There were individual moments throughout this book that I really, really enjoyed, and most of them were related to our demon character Crowley. So he communicates with, I think it's the devil, through Queen cassette tapes, which he has in his car. So I found it really cool as a Queen fan that Bohemian Rhapsody would start playing and it was the lyrics, and then it would slowly develop into Satan or the devil talking to him. I really liked that element. And then later on in the book there's a scene where Crowley is driving his car and it's on fire, and he pulls up to this policeman and asks for directions, and him and the policeman, being a British guy, just tries to ignore the fact that the car is on fire and is being too polite and doesn't even acknowledge it. That was a really funny exchange. I really, really enjoyed that. So yeah, I enjoyed individual moments, but as a book on whole, overall, I thought the plot was really weak and I didn't enjoy most of the characters, so I found it quite boring, and because of that, because I didn't find it too interesting, I was zoning in and out, and that probably is why I couldn't follow the plot. I will say that this one did remind me of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams. The humour's kind of on par with that, and that's also a book that I didn't enjoy when I read it. So I'd imagine if you have read that book before, then I think you would thoroughly enjoy this one. It just didn't click with me, and yeah, it's a shame. I had high hopes for this one. Probably won't be reading from Terry Pratchett too soon again. But Neil Gaiman, I have read Coraline before by him, and whilst I didn't enjoy it quite as much as the movie, that was a good book. And I think it's American Gods and his Norse mythology books are on my radar, so I'm at least going to read from Neil Gaiman again. But yeah, this one was just a disappointment, and I will probably be unhauling it when I do an unhaul. So those were all the books that I read in May. Another short wrap up, which is quite nice. Let me know down below if you've read any of these and if you enjoyed them. And as always, have a good day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!